Hey guys, what's up? It's Cole, and so I'm going to be doing a World Tier 3 update to my Druid build because we have seen a whole lot of changes in Diablo 4 go on. We've seen a lot of nerfs go on and basically shower the pulverize build, which is primarily what my Druid is currently focused on. So I'm going to say this outright. The nerfs did make me look at what I'm taking and shift around a whole lot of things because waiting, say, 20 seconds or getting 20 kills, that didn't quite work out so well, but there are definitely amazing alternative abilities that I'm going to go over here. Through the build, just starting from the top, we're going to have Maul, stay in werebar form, do more fortify. It's really, really good. I'm still a big fan of it. Pulverize is your bread and butter of this build. This is the heart of the build. Anything and everything you can do to get more ranks in it, more pulverize damage, and more overpower damage is all going to be incredibly powerful. Overpowering is just going to be based on the amount of fortified life you have, and with this build, you're going to have fortified like constantly, and fortified is like a 10% damage mitigation. That's an extra bonus. I had this before last time, but critical strike chance against close enemies is increased by 6%. That's really good. This time in World Tier 3 defense is very, very much on my mind because even now, I'm not going to lie, even with all the defensives, I still feel like I can get caught out, which is really kind of gross, so definitely take Iron Fur. We still have the passives, which maximum spirit, okay, not such a big deal, but we want abundance for way more spirit generation, and wild impulses, still not 100% sure on this. I think I'm more sold on it now that I've changed my build, where you can cheese out and get a lot more spirit for free. We'll get into that later. Earthen Bulwark is amazing, unstoppable, builds fortify. I absolutely love this. I have legendaries. I'll show you that it increases speed with it. And duration. Earthen Bulwark is one of my favorites. Wolves. This is going to be a very controversial part of the build because not all people are going to agree with me, and that's cool. A lot of people are going to be like, maybe you should have taken Debilitating Roar because it has a 21.1 second cooldown, mitigates damage by 70% for 4 seconds, and obviously 70% is pretty freaking huge. It can also give you Fortify, and it's really not a bad ability at all. Like, it also gives you a little bit of a heal. But wolves are going to be persistent. They're going to be around. You don't need to worry about them. You don't need to worry about hitting a button. But more than that is we're taking the ultimate ability, which I'm skipping ahead here, Grizzly Rage. Grizzly Rage gives you basically a full charge of Debilitating Roar for free. And with other things that I'm going to show you, you get a ton of it. And I guess, spoiler alert, we're going to go and get all of the Supreme Grizzly Rage, the big bear form, the ultimate, because it is absolutely worth it. It's an ultimate worth calling an ultimate. So wolves passive, you're going to be getting debilitating roar anyhow. And another thing that I should say about the ultimate is when it shifts you, it like locks you kind of just to like werebear abilities, but like we have trample here, right? Trample in the ultimate form is still on the same cooldown timer. Like I haven't been able to like cheese out multiple tramples using the ultimate. Heaven knows sometimes when moving around dungeons I want to, but that's another reason. So it's just like debilitating roar just because you are going to use your ultimate so much, not so good. So wolves, and I am a huge fan of wolves, so that works. Nature's Reach, because we are going to be using the pulverize at range ability, is absolutely amazing. Absolutely hand over fist recommend it. Um, from here, we take the Earth passive, so more damage. You're gonna slow them, trust me, with some of the legendaries, it's really good. Earth skills fortify you with critical strikes. Hopefully you're going to get some critical strikes. You're doing so much AoE that you will at some point. Fortify, oh, pretty decent. I mean, this is going to be very easy to passive to get. Then trample, only mobility ability you have, you get the one that gives you more fortify. Yeah, kind of a no-brainer there. Magic skills, because now pulverize is considered a nature magic skill, you're gonna be going in with defiance. Circle of life is pretty good. If I had more points I'd probably put them there, but it is what it is. Natural disaster, vulnerable enemies is something you will be triggering quite a lot because we're going to get into the Paragon Board and glyphs soon. Resonance is really good. Triple is bonus if it's a storm skill. It's just basically flat damage, I'm going to be honest. It's flat 6%. obviously ultimate we went into. And now what I changed at the very end here was this ultimate Earth Sign Strength is still really good. In fact, sometimes I'm thinking I want it because sometimes I do find myself wanting that HP. But this Earthen Might is really, 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 really good because you're going to do a whole lot of damage with Pulverize, especially in AoE with how massive it is. And so 5% chance to restore all your spirit, guaranteed critical strikes for a while. It's pretty crazy. And then obviously, like, critical strikes have an enhanced effect for it. Basically, this allows you to spam Pulverize over and over and over again. And in the background footage, or I should say like side footage to the build, because that's how I'm doing my editing, you're gonna see me trigger this a lot. And when it happens, it's absolutely brilliant. Like, to the point where I don't regret dropping this in terms of damage, even though this is objectively like 30% increased damage. This passive is just absolutely bonkers. With that, let's get into the Spirit Boons, because there's been changes here. Deer, 10% reduced damage from Elite World Tier 3, you absolutely want that. I can't even question it. Critical Strike damage is what I went with for the bird. 10% attack speed, meh. 10% maximum life, maybe it'd be fine on World Tier 3. 5% increased critical strike chance, it's 5%. I mean, it counts, but I just went with critical strike damage. 30% is chunky. And then Energize, dealing damage, has more restoration for spirit. Bolster, DC, a single ability in defensive, really, for me? No. Well, I guess Earthen Bulwark. But no, I like the energy way more for myself. And then now we're changing to 2 of the snake, which is going to be critical strike. So shape-shifting skills is going to restore life. You're doing pulverize a lot. That's going to be great. Nature magic skills have a 10% chance to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate skill by 2 seconds. And so that is kind of what I was getting at before, is Grizzly Rage is just really an ultimate worth calling an ultimate, worth having. It also gives you that debilitating roar, and so for free, basically for a free slot, it's really great. And with that, let's talk about the Paragon board. And so this is something I'm still mulling around with, but basically I'm picking up like extra damage nodes. Maybe I could benefit from extra life node. And then probably the more interesting thing, if anything, is this glyph socket. And so I went with vulnerable damage, which is going to be the exploit one. I found if you do nightmare dungeons, you get showered in a lot of these, so I wouldn't really worry about farming it out. At least I'm not that worried. And then from there, what this does is basically you apply vulnerable to enemies that you hit with pulverize. It adds more damage to it, which is sure, okay, whatever, that's nice. It's really nice actually, but mainly I want it for the initial vulnerability. So now they're taking like 30% more damage, which is decent. And then obviously to activate, you want a lot of dexterity nodes around there, and that does that for that. Now in terms of the actual legendaries, I want to actually disclaimer saying World Tier 3, you actually will have more than enough resources to start splurging a little bit, because I can tell you, I hit a wall with World Tier 3 until I actually invested a little bit in my build, as you're going to see, not too crazy, and it paid off in dividends. So the first thing is Fortify. Earth skills have +2 ranks. That's really, really, really great. Damage from Earth skills slow enemies. That triggers other effects like crowd-controlled enemies, slowed enemies. It's really, really good. Even if you just want to catch enemies, it's great. Core skills deal an additional blah, blah, blah. 6% damage. I shouldn't say blah, blah, blah. It's like, what, it adds up to like 18% more damage for each active companion, because I have 3 right now. Those HP sponges are very good, even if their passive damage is bad. And guys, their passive damage is actually dog shit. I feel so bad because I really want to do a companions build, but man, they're freaking weak. Now, in terms of the pants, the duration of Earth and Bulwark, that's going to be your Earth Shield. Longer duration, really good. It also works with this Boots legendary, which is when unstoppable. Earth and Bulwark gives you that. You are going to be getting increased movement speed. It's freaking amazing. Now, on my two-handed weapon, technically, you're going to see another legendary I probably should have here, but I just went with your core skills, still up to 60% increased damage. based on the amount of fortify you have. Sorry, I'm very tired. And so 60% increased damage is absolutely great. Now for the legendary that I'm like, should this be on my weapon, but it's on my amulet, so I don't really care. As you can see, it's really behind in item power because I just don't want to upgrade it. I think that it would be a net loss. Pulverize, Shockwave is going to do huge damage in front of you. Absolutely freaking intensely awesome. I cannot emphasize, I cannot stress enough. This has been carrying so much of this build. And I do have some extra ones in my inventory. I actually do. I almost feel like I should throw footage of that. And then Pulverize is now an Earth skill. You get this from doing one of your dungeons in Hawizia or whatever it's called. It's really, really good. It's very, 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 very powerful. I am truly impressed with that. And then lastly, I wanted another HP sponge. A lot of people are going to be like, you should do some other legendary. You probably could. There's probably like min-max optimizations that could be done. But like I said before, HP sponges are great. It's also having the synergy with this, your core skills do 6% more damage per companion. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm actually pretty happy with it. And with that, I think that I'm actually done going over the build. Obviously this build has some limitations. Like, I do feel really squishy right now, but that could just be like, hey, you're still just entering into World Tier 3. Your Paragon board is still basically like naked. Like, let's try and actually adapt to World Tier 3. So it could just be that simple, but as you can see in the footage, I am just shredding things and I am actually having a blast, which is actually really refreshing. I was a little worried when I first got to World Tier 3. I was like, whoa, was Druid a mistake, especially with these nerfs? And I can tell you, proof is kind of in the footage. The pulverized nerfs didn't do much. I'm happy. Anyhow, with that being said, I am going to close off this video. Take care, everyone, and I hope that you're having an absolute blast in this game. I am very much actually quite happy. I'll see you. Take care.